Hey, babe.
Yeah, what's up?
Question.
What?
Me and my friend are trying to figure out exactly when a guy at a bar or a nightclub, a dance nightclub, let's just go with a dance nightclub because that's where it happens more, decides he is going to approach a girl.
Okay, so this is upbeat, high tempo. Okay, these rules, I guess, can apply to other situations, but the bar area, like a bar, it's a little bit lower pace. So, but let's just use your scenario. By the way, when do you think he decides to walk up to you?
When he first sees me?
No, he doesn't. If he decides to walk up when he first sees you, he is stupid because he hasn't planned out his approach. And I almost guarantee you that most men, I'd say majority, if not all men, plan out their approach because of the Me Too movement and a whole bunch of other bullshit. So it isn't just they see you and they're like, I'm gonna go ask her. No, they have to assess the situation. By the way, before they even get in the club, they've already ranked everybody in the club. And it's not the rank that you think. It's not the prettiest, the ugliest. Because there are some very pretty girls that are very ugly. And there are some very ugly girls that are very pretty. So that's not the case. Although looks do come into play, that is not the case because I don't want to deal with BS when I'm dating. So I'm married, so I'm kind of out of step with some of these moves, but I still analyze the situation just in case I was single when I walk into something like this with you. So with that being said, after we get into the bar and we make our assessment, and this happens very quickly within 30 seconds, we start picking through on the girls that we may hit up and girls that we definitely won't hit up and girls we definitely want to hit up. Just because we definitely want to hit them up doesn't mean we're going to do it, because there's something called opportunity. We have to find opportunity. Now there's some factors that come into opportunity. The first factor is, who is she hanging around? And the second factor is, how is she acting? These are two key factors. Because of the Me Too movement, I need to make sure she's sober enough that I'm not going to be accused of anything. So that is the number one check mark I do. So I immediately weed out all the girls that are stumbling around acting stupid, because that is a possible charge on me and I don't have time to deal with prison. So after we get through that, then we narrow down our girls. Now we have the girls, and also we have to assess whether they're married or not. Then we have the girls that are left, okay? Some of them may be hot, some of them may be somewhat pretty, some may be ugly. It doesn't matter. Our goal is to hit up one of these girls, okay? Now, just because we've ranked you doesn't mean we're going with our number one. When we look at you, we look at who you're around. If you're around a bunch of guys, that's not a bad thing, but we have to assess those men. Are the men there brotherly, fatherly, boyfriendly, or sex buddies? We have to make that assessment, and that's based on the way you're acting and way you're holding their arm and so on and so forth. So I'll walk up to a group of men and start with a guy on the outside of the group, not outside, but like, he's not the main character. I'll start talking to him because usually he's not being talked to as much, and I will go ahead and start talking to him to eventually get a chance to talk to the girl. That is in a less than normal situation, but it can work if you do it correctly. The best group to approach, though, is a men and women mixed group with the girl that you want to ask out, because the men and women, you can figure out pretty quick who's with who and who is committed to who and so on and so forth. You just need time. So by the time I get through this, I've already spent considerable time just doing that. We're not done yet. If you're with a group of girls, girls are mean. I don't care who they are, and if they're in a pack, a herd, whatever you want to call them, they tend to be mean because they think they got to protect their friend from the mean man who's trying to take their friend from them. Even though I have the best of intentions, I just want to talk to you, see if we mesh well. but the herd takes over. So in that case, you have to wait until the girl has to go to the bathroom or go do something. But you can't trap her, because if you come up on her and you don't set up the right conditions, then you're considered rude or a creeper, and you lose your opportunity. The entire time this is going on, whenever you approach a girl, before you approach it, after, you're trying to get to the next step. You're not trying to get to the end goal of dating, or in some cases, need be sex, which that is never my goal, but sometimes, some guys out there are like that. But the goal is to get her interested. Half the crap guys do when talking to a girl, texting them every day, good morning, all that bull crap, is because guys believe that women want that in order to get to that next level. If a girl were to simply say, I want you, and you don't have to put up with any of that crap, blah, 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 a guy would jump on it like that. But he'd be hesitant to admit it, because he would think this was a setup somehow. He'd be looking around, where's the cameras, so on and so forth. So he is very cautious. But if he were to actually be shown that that is not the case, I guarantee you, any guy a girl walks up to, with the exception of people in a committed relationship, or there are some exceptions, there are certain standards that some men have, they would go with it just to see how things end up. And they're not afraid to. Most guys are not afraid to. They're only afraid because of all the crap that comes with it. So girls complain all the time that guys won't walk up to them. There's so many factors. But let's get back to our story. The second thing you need to understand, once we've identified you and your group, then we look at how you act, okay? And we are looking for our opportunity. And my best thing to do, like I said, would be wait until they go to the bathroom, wait, and don't get them on the way in, because they're more concentrated on going to the bathroom than they are either fixing their makeup or going pee or whatever, than they are talking to somebody else. You're just in their way. But if you get them on the way back out, you can do one or two things. You can wait until they pass by, which is a little awkward, say, hey, I've seen you, but they're kind of caught off guard. So that's the best thing to do, is accidentally bump into them nicely and be apologetic. This puts you at the defensive mode, and they feel sorry for you, more or less. Or maybe they don't feel sorry, but they feel like you're trying to make up for something that you did, and it's understandable. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So when you set it up, I like to do one of two things. The first thing is, like I said, turn and don't make it obvious. You got to be smooth about it. You got to accidentally turn and bump into them. Don't do the phone thing where you're glancing at your phone. That's just disrespectful. But set it up where she has to pass by you to get by, and then you turn all of a sudden, you go, oh, I'm sorry. That is the best way to do it, because it gets your foot in the door, and she's willing to listen because you're heaping sorries on her or praise on her. I didn't mean to, whatever. And she's more willing to listen than you get your foot in the door. The second way I do it is, especially if she walks out and she's trying to accomplish something, like she's trying to get a drink and the bartender won't pay attention or something like that, then that is an opportunity for you to step in and be the good guy, and it gets your foot in the door. Either way, you got to get your foot in the door, and you got to make it look like it was happenstance. By the time the guy approaches you, he has already planned out all of this in his head, and it doesn't take long. He knows what is expected of him when approaching a single woman, or a group of women, or a group of men and women. He knows what's expected. He's the outsider. He has to weasel his way in somehow. If girls would just stop playing the game and just tell the guy, hey, I'm interested in you, you want to go talk, I guarantee you every single time. And the guy, here's the thing, the guy isn't wanting to jump to anything. He wants to get to know you to see if you're crazy or not before anything happens and we move to the next level. So he's just as cautious as you are. The difference is women make it very difficult to get to that next level. And one small step on each of those next levels can rule you out from ever being able to approach that woman again. So a man knows what's at stake. A man knows what's at stake when he approaches a girl, and he has to have the plan in place. What do you think happens when a guy approaches you? Honestly. And did you even know this much effort was put into figuring out how to get the foot in the door for that woman he wants?
No, I didn't know it was all that mind game.
Okay, so I have a question. Last time you were single and you were at a club, how many guys hit on you?
Several.
Give me a number.
I'd say about 12.
How many of those did you turn down?
All but one.
All but one. Okay. I have never been approached by a girl, and it may be because I'm ugly. I don't know. I've never been approached by a girl and said, I'm interested in you. In fact, even when the girl has smiled at me, and I know she's interested in me because of people around her, peer pressure, it's hard to get her alone, even if I know, and even then she's still hesitant. I would love to be the first one to ask the girl out every single time. But there is so much risk with asking that girl out that I struggle, and most men struggle, on making sure they're pushy enough to get the deal done, but not pushy enough that it turns the woman off to him. And he is self-conscious of everything he's doing in front of that woman until he gets her. Until he's convinced her that she wants to go on a date with him.
That's just too much.
But it's what we have to deal with. I wish you could walk a day in my shoes.
Well,
not in my shoes now because I'm married to you. But my shoes as a single...
on our first date.
That was tough. I was nervous as hell on our first date. So anyways, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
Thank you.